It's chess. It ain't checkers.
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Holcomb. Thank you for making Locked On USC, part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you're watching this show on YouTube, wherever you're downloading your podcast, any platform, this show's always free, and this show always appreciates your support. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers, you're going to get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. It's $150 with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/locked on, and you can get started today. So several hours after new USC defensive tackle Gavin Meyer announced he's transferring to USC from the University of Wyoming. By the way, he was previously, not committed. He had a top four of USC, Cal Berkeley, Wisconsin, and Illinois. He's listed 6'4", 282 pounds. That was his most recent listing on the Wyoming roster. His name is Gavin Meyer. He's from Wisconsin. Now, minor win for USC. Why is that a minor win? Well, he's from Wisconsin originally. The Badgers were part of his Final Four, and Wisconsin's new co-defensive coordinator, Alex Grinch, is over there. So, USC 1, Alex Grinch 0. I said that Gavin had sent out his announcement in the morning, earlier in the day. Later in the day, USC defensive line coach Eric Henderson, he sent out, I don't know, it was a cryptic, but he sent out a message on X, formerly known as Twitter. It's chess, not checkers. Again, remember, Gavin committed in the morning. But Coach Henny barked out his next move. It was later in the afternoon, well into the afternoon. And again, it said, it's chess, not checkers. Were the two things related? I don't know. What I do know is what I told my everydayers who listen to the show every single day. Earlier this week on Locked On USC, I reminded everybody that Coach Henny is out there recruiting. He's out there in the state of Alabama. Just the other day, he stopped by Opelika, Alabama. Is it Opelika? Anyways, he stopped off there. He said hello to Malik Autry. And he also checked out Hoover, Alabama, home to edge player Jared Smith. So both of those guys play positions of need. Autry plays inside, defensive tackle. Smith is a premier edge player. Thing is, neither one of those guys are available to play for USC until next year, 2025. The very first time they can put on the uniform and suit up in a real game, it's when USC takes on Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin at the Coliseum. That's their first game in 2025. Cannot wait to see the old ball coach, Lane Kiffin, the visor, hanging out on the USC sidelines. The opposite sideline this time, but you get the point. Looking forward to it. Anyways, it looks like Gavin Meyer, defensive tackle from Wyoming, is suiting up for the Trojans this year. And he's exactly what Lincoln Riley has been looking for in the transfer portal all spring. Gavin has appeared in 26 games over his last 2 years for the Cowboys. His best numbers were in 2022. That's when he had 40 tackles, including 5 tackles for loss, to go with 4 sacks and a forced fumble. Not bad. When you get that kind of production from the inside, those are good numbers. Last season, they dropped off a little bit. He only totaled 26 tackles, 3.5 for a loss. But right now, we are going to call this a transfer portal win. Despite the lack of fanfare, USC filled one of its needs when Gavin Meyer decided to play for the USC Trojans, to be developed by Coach Henderson, by Coach Nua, and to play for Lincoln Riley. And look, for all we know, Meyer is just another one of those Wyoming starters who's ready to be a USC starter. I mean, why not? It happened with Solomon Byrd. He used his time wisely at USC to develop. He turned himself into an NFL draft pick. The Houston Texans selected him in the 7th round. And Emmanuel Prignon, the starting left guard, he's getting ready to start at left guard for the 2nd year in a row at USC. Not bad. I mean, so far, the men that start off in Laramie, Wyoming, and they make their way to LA, they do okay. So let's see if Riley can go 3 for 3. By the way, if you're a fan of James Stewart, those old Western movies, Jimmy Stewart, The Man from Laramie, excellent movie. Check it out. Towards the end of spring camp, during one of those Saturday Zoom sessions that Lincoln Riley used to hang out with us in the media, he still does it. When I say used to, it's because we don't get to see him now, at least for the time being. Anyways, I asked Coach Riley about his thoughts with regards to the spring transfer window. This was right around the time when Isaiah Rakes left. He said, I'm out of here. This is what Coach Riley had to say. I don't know that we've had it long enough for me to say. I mean, what you don't love is you go through spring ball and invest in some of these reps in people, and then they don't play for you in the fall. I don't love that piece of it. Although that's not going to be a huge part of your roster. We got a lot of dudes on this team right now that love USC, that love this team, that are as completely committed as they possibly could be. And we're not going to let the actions of a few sour us or deject us in any way. It's part of it. If we lose a couple of guys, then we'll replace them. But the large amount of this team feels that way. So I don't know my personal feelings. Probably like anything, there's some positives and negatives to both, but it's something that it's part of the rules right now. It's just something that we've got to deal with. So Coach Riley was talking about the positives and the negatives. We're going to put Gavin Meyer into the positive column. Is he one of Coach Riley's and Coach Henderson's first choices coming out of the transfer portal? Probably not. I think even Gavin understands that. Is he a true nose tackle at 285 pounds? Nope, probably not. Can he play inside? Yes. But again, he wants to be at USC. And that's exactly what Coach Riley is looking for right now. And who knows? Again, I don't know what Coach Henderson's message on X was all about, but he ain't playing checkers. He's playing chess. And if he signed off on making the move, moving Gavin Meyer into his defensive line rotation, then you know what? I'm going to give Coach Henderson the benefit of the doubt. I've seen, in fact, the country has seen what he's able to do with undersized guys. Aaron Donald wasn't considered your prototypical size to play inside on the defensive line. He's just waiting until he can actually officially put on the yellow jacket and enter the NFL Hall of Fame. There's that waiting period. But he's a first ballot guy. I'm not saying that's what's going on here. What I'm saying is Eric Henderson knows how to develop. Now let's see what he can do with what he has. He's got one more player. His name is Gavin Meyer, your newest USC Trojan out of the spring transfer window, defensive tackle. One need filled. Who knows? Maybe there'll be more. Like I said on yesterday's episode, USC's got 5 open spots. Now they've got 4. When it comes to your financial future, you think you've done it all. You've saved, you've researched, you've invested all that you can. Now you need to take those investments and you need to take it to the next level by using what every financial great uses, Yahoo Finance. And you couldn't do that without the help of our sponsors like Yahoo Finance. For more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or you're looking for extra guidance, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and data you need, and they do it in one place. You can securely link your brokerage accounts for a unified view of your wealth, including your 401k, as well as your other investments. And with a community over 90 million users each month, their real strength is helping you on your way to financial success. For comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, yahoofinance.com. The #1 financial destination, yahoofinance.com. That's yahoofinance.com. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? You're turning down the volume, all of a sudden you hear a bunch of yelling and shouting. Make the switch to Locked On Sports today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all that yelling. Locked On Sports today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Let me take a sip of water here. Okay, now you're sticking around for this segment. Good thing. My super secret insider. I got some more pics that were sent to me from inside the Cone of Silence, also known as the McKay Center, where news, a lot of stuff goes on, but the news doesn't come out. Well, I got some pictures before I woke up. Again, the significance and the pecking order could be strictly how these guys line up in the weight room, for all I know. But it is interesting nonetheless. So I got these pictures. I asked when they were taken. I was told they were snapped off just hours actually before they were sent to me. Now, I woke up at 6 a.m. These pictures were already waiting for me. And I saw what time they were sent to me. So, yeah, they're pretty fresh. Again, I'm just going to read these names off, okay? We can decide if it has any significance or not. At strong safety, in order, Kamari Ramsey, Zion Branch, Traquan Fagans, intrigue, remember that, Christian Pierce, Jarvis Boatwright Jr. At the Mike position, you have Easton Mascarenas Arnold, Eric Gentry, Jaden Walker, Elijah Newby. At the will linebacker spot, Mason Cobb, Rajon Davis, Desmond Stevens, Roman Marchetti. At free safety, Achille Arnold, Bryson Shaw, Anthony Beavers Jr., Marquise Gallegos. Now, my everydayers heard me say this just on yesterday's episode of Locked On USC that I think the starting safety combination when USC kicks off against LSU will be Kamari Ramsey and Achille Arnold. Boom, there you go. So far, so good. I'm on it. And I actually told you that before I saw these pictures. So, just saying. Anyways, at one side of the defensive end. So they don't list it edge. They list defensive end one side, defensive end on the other side. One side, you have Solomon Tuliaupupu, Anthony Lucas, Devin Tompkins, David DJ Peavy, Lorenzo Cowan. At the nose position, that's how they list it, nose. First string, well, first man up, Kobe Pepe. Second man up, Carlon Jones. I'm going to say that Gavin Meyer is probably going to get slotted in there really soon. But those are the only two guys right now. Kobe Pepe, Carlon Jones are playing nose. I think Gavin Meyer. At the tackle position, Keithian Alexander. You know him as Bear. Nate Clifton, Elijah Hughes, Jide Abasiri, Ratumana Bulabalavu. And then at the other end spot, the other defensive end, Jamil Muhammad, Braylon Shelby, Cameron Fountain, Sam Green, Garrett Pomeranz. Okay. At one of the cornerback spots, we have DeCarlos Nicholson, Malachi Crawford, and Isaiah Rubin. At the nickel, we have Jalen Smith, Jacoby Covington, Greedy Vance. Now, Vance is on the board, and he just arrived not too long ago. And he actually arrived well after Traquan Fagans bounced to what I believe is going to be University of Central Florida. So there was that intrigue. They already have Greedy Vance on the board, but they haven't taken Traquan's name off the wall yet. Wonder why. At the other cornerback spot, John Humphrey, Prophet Brown. Here's another little bit of intrigue. Again, we don't know why they're listed this way. Braylon Connolly, then Marcellus Williams. Marcellus Williams had an outstanding spring camp. So, again, I have no insight as to what these, I call them wall shingles, and their order, what their pecking order means. I'm just reading them off to you as they showed up. Let's go to the other side of the ball. Let's talk about the offense. Some interesting things caught my eye over here as well. You tell me what caught. So far, what's caught your eye? Hit me up in the comments section. Let me know. On offense. Oh, and by the way, if you're a parent of any of these players, and I know a lot of you watch the show, you know how to reach me. Let me know your thoughts. That way we can keep them. We can keep it anonymous. We can keep it private, not put you out there on the spot. Anyways, on offense, we'll start with the offensive line. Left tackle, Elijah Page, Justin Ta'uanu. That's it. Left guard, Emmanuel Prignon, Hayden Trader, Micah Banuelos. Now, again, I'm just going to kind of throw it out there. Micah Banuelos is still recovering from off-season surgery. That's why he did not participate in any of the spring camp contact drills. At center, no surprise here, Jonah Monheim, Killian O'Connor. He'll switch. At right guard, Olani Noah, Gino Quinones, Amos Talalele, Jack Susner, and Kalen Miller. At right tackle, you've got Mason Murphy, Tobias Raymond, Kololo Kahia, and Makai Saina. Okay. Quarterback, no surprise, Miller Moss, Jaden Mayava, Jake Jensen, Gage Roy. At the tight end positions, Cade Eldridge, Joey Olson, Cameron Woods, Walker Lyons, Walter Matthews. Notice I didn't mention a name there. At running back, we got Joquavius, Woody Marks, Quentin Joyner, Amarian Peterson, Brian Jackson. Let's do the wide receivers. This is how they're listed at the X wide receiver spot. This is one of the outside positions. Tyron Ware Hudson. So it looks like he's got the hyphenation going again. Deuce Robinson, Kyle Ford. So looks like Kyle also started the back of the line again. My bad. At the H spot inside, Makai Lemon. At the Y spot, the slot, Zachariah Branch. Now, the way they have these things, these shingles lined up on the wall, backing up both Makai and Zachariah, you have Jay Fair, Josiah Zamora, and Corey Norris. So they're back. Those guys are backing up both the H and the Y. And then at your other outside wide receiver, the Z, Jacoby Lane, Jaden Richardson, Xavier Jordan. So what caught your attention? All right, I kind of gave you what caught mine. I'll be honest. There's a lot of guys that I named off at the interior offensive line. Some of those guys are probably going to get a little cross training spread out to the tackle, especially that left side. I'm thinking maybe Hayden Trader might be the guy. I really like the way he looked when I saw him at the end of spring camp. Monster. And once he gets to actually be a part of the USC weight room and their training table, the food, the nutrition, whoo, dude's going to be massive. Anyway, so there you go. A little insight into what could or could not be your depth chart. It looked like a depth chart. It really looks like a depth chart. Also, real quick before we get out of this segment, I'm sitting on a rumor right now and it's going to affect the roster numbers, but again, I'm waiting for confirmation. So remember this little footnote. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tease you any further. It does It has to do with the roster. That's it. No more. I'm waiting for some confirmation. I contacted the right people about this too. It's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win on your own. Right now, new customers, you're going to get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on the point spreads, on the money lines, on any type of player prop bet you can find, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/locked-on and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. I saw one of the greatest analogies today. I know I like to pick on some of the national writers over there at On3. I work at that network. I work with that network as well over there at wearesc.com. JD Pickell, he is their like podcast dude. Does some really good segments. Anyways, he was making the In-N-Out burger analogy with USC football, and he nailed it. Or he came pretty damn close, is what I'll say. This is what he said. USC is In-N-Out. Massive brand in California. Both USC and In-N-Out burgers. You recognize the logo right away. I mean, you see both. You see that Trojan logo. You know what it's USC Trojans. You see the In-N-Out logo. You know exactly what you're looking at. And it's not just the logos, but the colors are similar. So again, he nailed it. What JD Pickell reminded the country that watches him is that USC has, they've got some hardware in their trophy. You know, they've got a lot of history, a lot of tradition. They've earned their reputation. And I know people in Texas like Whataburger, but In-N-Out was voted the best burger in the country. So, true statement, what JD Pickell said. In-N-Out has great burgers, arguably the best in the nation. USC football plays great offense. Arguably, they have one of the best offenses in the country as long as Lincoln Riley is cooking it up. Where JD Pickell draws the parallel. What drags In-N-Out down and what's dragging USC down are their French fries. JD said they need more salt. I have a different complaint about In-N-Out's French fries. They're salted fine. What they don't have are any preservatives, okay? They have the perfect ingredients to be great. They're all natural. But again, no preservatives. So they don't stay hot very long. And because they're not pumping them up with, all those fatty stuff, fatty things that keep them hot. You literally got to eat those things in like a minute, 38 seconds or you're screwed. They taste great while they're hot. So to review, USC offense and In-N-Out burgers, great, well respected. But USC's defense and In-N-Out fries, they need some work. No one will disagree. Like I said, you like the ingredients that USC has on defense. They went out, they got a brand new defensive coaching staff. They brought in some really good players. I'm not going to make the comparison of preservatives to steroids and supplements and all that. USC's defense just needs to get better. There's different ways to get better. You can still be all natural, fresh, cut to order, and you can stay hot. You can be good, but you just can't sit around and do nothing. USC's defense needs to kind of start working on itself. Their burgers, great. Top notch. Now, I love In-N-Out. I'm a Tommy's guy. I just like those, the chili, the cheese. Yeah. Anyways, I'm getting way off topic here. But I like the analogy. What did you think? Do you like the analogy? I figured, you know what? I read some of the responses and I literally started to laugh out loud because other teams wanted to make the comparison. One of the better ones I saw was Missouri. Their Sonic Drive-In. They're half Midwestern, they're half Southern, and they're criminally underrated. And the person who made that comment was right. You know why? Because I like Sonic. I love the crushed ice in their sodas. I love crushed ice. And you can get tater tots. You don't have to get fries. I saw another one. Notre Dame is McDonald's. They're not as great as they once were. It's still a very huge brand. You know what you're looking at. I kind of drew my own analogy comparison. For me, it was UCLA football and Wahlburgers. Way overrated. Way overrated. Way expensive. And going out of business. They had a Wahlburgers on USC's campus. Shut down. Anyways, there you go. That's this episode of Locked On USC. In the book, another episode. I'll be back with another one tomorrow. And tomorrow, when you're watching this episode, means it'll be Friday. That means I'm going to have a Friday rant, among other things. We're going to be talking about USC football, recruiting visitors. Got official visitor. The official visits are coming up soon. So again, going to wrap up the week with a whole bunch of stuff. So until then, everyone, you know what to do.